we being prepared for a new Mayor of London? This may sound a bit implausible. I mean, I know that we all love Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, so much. But I think, obviously he's on his third term as mayor. There are talks about his departure in the next few years. And I think a star has been born in Labour circles. I don't think this person is a star, but Labour seem to rate him a lot. And that is Mete Coban. He is the deputy mayor of the environment. Khan has quite a few deputy mayors. His sort of deputy team costs about 2.4 million in total a year. But I would really say his favourite is Mete Coban, who's really been a long-term ally. He's been backing Khan even before he was mayor. And Coban was in Hackney, he was the cabinet member for climate change on a fairly low income salary. It was about £30,000 to £40,000. But I really couldn't ever think about Mete Coban. So I've been covering this guy Mete Coban since 2023. So just to blow my own trumpet, I originally broke a story about how he clocked up 40,000 air miles while he was this eco councillor in Hackney. And this story, he's now got quite mainstream attention, which I'm quite chuffed about. But yeah, that was quite tedious legwork, actually calculating all those air miles. And I remember at the time it was a great scoop because Mete Coban had gone around telling people in Hackney how don't drive your cars, LTNs are great, low traffic neighbourhoods, think of the children's lungs sort of thing. And the first time I ever clocked him is he announced a £61 million funding from Hackney to fight climate change. Absolutely insane. I know Hackney quite well. I actually grew up as a kid in Islington, and it's the borough next door, so lots of nice childhood times in Hackney. But it's like Islington, which is kind of known for being posh, but they both are quite deprived in parts. It's about half and half. And I even put it to a girl once who I was chatting to when I was witness for a crime, and we came to the hearing, and she was from Hackney, and I said, what do you think about Hackney investing 61 million in climate change? And she was absolutely gobsmacked. This is just the stuff you don't get from the news, Anyway, a bit of a tangent there. So Sadiq Khan appointed Coban the deputy mayor for the environment and energy, and this is just such a joke because it's an £148,000 role, and Mete Coban absolutely doesn't live the kind of lifestyle that he is telling other people to live, and he loves travel. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, really. The problem is when you start telling others how bad things are for them, how they shouldn't go in their car, you're trapping people. And then Mete Coban, he was flying all over the world, and what he would do is he talked about having a cheeky weekend in Miami. He would go on these really long trips. He's got captions like well-deserved break, loving this new look, a picture of him in the desert. And he even went racing in Dubai, and this is all while he was the deputy cabinet member for the environment. And I remember when I wrote this Telegraph article, because what you do when people, when you write articles about people, you give them the right of reply. And this is sometimes really useful because you might learn something from that reply, but it's also to give them the opportunity to respond. And he said to me that this is all his travel is to do with him running a youth democracy charity. So he said, the majority of the flights relate to my role as the chief executive of a youth-led charity, and I make no apology for my advocacy on behalf of young people at some of the highest levels of decision making, including the United Nations and the White House. Now, at the time, I thought to myself, what the hell? I thought he was making it up. I just thought he went on a trip to the White House. He, I just thought, oh, he's so self-important, but he doesn't need to go here. But now I can see he was really telling the truth, right? And this quote did go in the article. So Coban he was CEO of a charity called My Life, My Say, which is still running now. And Alistair Campbell actually helped him set it up around 11 to 12 years ago. So Coban said that on social media, and Tony Blair partners with this charity. Now, this does all come back to the Mayor of London thing, by the way. Now, when I first found all these things out, I just thought I wasn't where I am now. I was looking at it, and this is kind of how a lot of politics works. Like, it doesn't really make sense. You're like, I was viewing it from the angle of like, what an idiot. Like, what, he went to the White House, they care about him there? Give me a break. And then when I saw Tony Blair and Alistair Campbell was so interested in this charity, like Alistair Campbell's always frequently going to give talks there. And in general, Alistair Campbell likes to talk to young people, of course, because they are a political demographic. So you've got to get to them young, right? That's the whole mindset behind this. So I couldn't see at the time. I just thought Tony Blair and Alistair Campbell, didn't really make sense to me. And then the more I looked into this charity, the more I was like, this isn't a charitable activity. Like some of the things they're doing, they hold cafes to talk about democracy, and they just give out, they had quarantine question time. So My Life, My Say, that's the charity, set up the quarantine question time to help provide expert advice to young people about the coronavirus and its impact on our lives. And then, it's all just so stupid. And they had democracy cafes. This is one of their this is a charitable activity. Democracy cafes is our reinvigoration of the 17th century coffee house tradition, where members of society would gather and discuss local issues. First built in collaboration with Starbucks, these events brought together diverse members of the local community who do not usually interact with each other. Blah, blah, blah. This model helps bring a social buzz back to coffee shops and makes them a place where communities can come together and get... Going and getting a cup of coffee is a charitable activity. Here's where it gets even more shocking, I think, because this bullshit charity has had funding from the US Embassy in London when it was under Democrat control. It had just under $90,000 in funding from the US Embassy in London. What's that all about? Well, I think I know what it's all about. And it's also had funding from the Joseph Rowntree Reform Trust, that's a Quaker foundation, and the National Lottery Community Trust wing, whatever it is. It's had hundreds of thousands of pounds. And let's just be honest, youth democracy is not charities. There are just so many nonsense charities. This is all about trying to get to young people as a voting demographic. So the charity, one of its bullshit activities was it had a partnership with Ben and Jerry's, and young people would get free ice creams offered by Coban, who was a Labour councillor at the time, and other people that worked for the charity. They'd get free ice cream if you go and vote. Because, of course, what is the default? Like, the young people that they're going to and patronising and sort of like, your vote matters, yeah, go and vote, democracy. What do they actually want them to do? They want them to vote for Labour, because imagine you go up to a young person, they don't know who to vote for, they're sort of like, well, Jeremy Corbyn looks quite nice, like my mate likes them, and they go and vote for them. Like, how many young people are going to be like, yes, I think I'll go for the Tories, actually, the kind of disengaged, disenfranchised demographic that they're going for. And the Quaker foundations, they kind of portray it like, oh, we want to get to underserved communities because we're Quakers and we're so helpful. But I mean, a lot of Quaker foundations, it's just like Marxism, like they just want really far left parties to win. So this is just another way you can make that happen. Anyway, God, I've got 10 minutes now. Right, so basically, Mete Coban, this figure, he won an Obama award after the Mayor of London got in, and I think it was sometime, it was either before or after Labour got elected in the general election. And what this basically was about, I'm pretty sure, is the Americans, the Democrats, wanted to create a Green New Deal with the UK. And the UK was doing its part of the bargain. It was getting its UK people in place to get this Green New Deal. And I don't really know all the details of the Green New Deal. I just know that it's lauded by people in the States like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the squads. It's kind of like Bernie Sanders, the kind of real leftist. And I believe the Biden administration, but there's been a synchronicity between the Obama administration, the Clintons, the UN, all have a link to Sadiq Khan and his administration. And ultimately, what Mete Coban's charity does is you have these different layers. So, and by the way, the US didn't fill its side of the bargain. It didn't fill its side of the deal, which was it needed to get its administration in place to create the alliance, the Green New Deal alliance. But how London works, and sometimes people that are trying to shut me down will tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist for this, but how London works is ultimately Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, is his second job. Sadiq Khan works for C40 cities. That is a global alliance of cities, and they're all trying to sing to the same tune on climate change. But it's basically trying to create a uniform model of cities that are green, but also some people are going to get really rich out of all the technology being rolled out to cities. So Sadiq Khan is trying to he's basically like the boy that's got to do it here. I say the boy because he's like kind of, he's working for the C40 Cities Alliance. He's actually the co-chair. I believe the other co-chair works for Sierra Leone, is the prime minister or the leader of that. So basically he gets his orders. The UN is at the top. The C40 Cities is like the UN's bitch. And Sadiq Khan is the mini bitch, so he's got to go and sort things out for the C40 cities. And he's also pretty answerable to Mike Bloomberg, who almost runs his own administration in London. He even has his offices, which Keir Starmer have been to. Politicians across the political spectrum have gone to Mike Bloomberg. He's got lots of money, he's clever. He was the 3-time mayor of New York City. He's a Democrat. He's also the special envoy for the UN. So Sadiq Khan really works for him. And I believe Sadiq Khan, people think that he's sort of, it's his thing going wrong with London, but he's almost just like the messenger. And then the lower messenger is this Mete Coban figure, and he's been good at doing what he was needed to do. And Mete Coban's role in all of this is like he is kind of, he's kind of the down with the kids guy. He's from the C40 and all the leaders' perspective. What they want is these kind of youth figures in different countries who can mobilize the youth vote, who can be like, yeah, I'm one of you, I'm down with the kids, I use Snapchat. And they have all these stupid slogans, the democracy charity, like don't let democracy do you, or just some really awful ones. They want all the kids on their Lime bikes. I've done another video about this. Lime bikes are a democracy tool. They're about getting people on their bikes to the polling station. So Mete Coban he's proven himself that he can deliver for these elite institutions that link to the UN. Well done, Mete Coban. You helped Sadiq Khan win because you nudged the youth vote with your youth democracy charity that Alistair Campbell helped you set up and Tony Blair partners with. Well done. And you gave them free ice creams and you told them, you made them feel really empowered. So they've worked out like this is a good formula for winning. But he's been rewarded for his efforts, you know. I've got to be careful there. Like, you know, it wasn't like, oh, Mete Coban, well done, have my deputy mayor job. But he's even faked a football career, by the way. The Times did this piece about it. But he's really in Sadiq Khan's good books. He'll be in other people's good books. You know, Obama, he won that Obama award. So what's the next step for him? Well, being the deputy mayor for the environment is quite a big one because environment is everything at the moment. And ultimately, environment, you know, think about that word, the environment. They are literally being given control of our environment, though. They are making it harder to drive. They're making it harder for disabled people to get about with these livable cities that are actually about forcing people over to technology that makes some people, you know, if you've got shares in these and look at the C40 cities, look at all the people investing in this institution. What are they getting out of it? What is IKEA run by Inca Group? Why are they funding these cities? What's that all about? I mean, I don't necessarily have the answers to all this. There's so much. But anyway, so you know, so he's basically got the most important deputy mayor role. And now what is he doing? He's going out, he's going to lots, you know, he knows Ed Miliband as well. He's going to lots of different places, being shown, meeting people. Mete Coban, he made these important speeches. I think he's made speeches with the UN. You know, he's really being circulated. It's like a 19th century coming out party for a lady, but it's Mete Coban is being he's being shown the ropes. He's being shown to lead up to the deputy mayor, and to give credit to the Times because they were the ones that first suggested that he is being primed to be the mayor of London. Because do you know what? This is another thing. I would have never thought of this because the man is not, you know, he's not environmentally friendly, as shown by he loves travel. Nothing wrong with that again, unless you're telling people don't drive in the city that I manage. He's not environmentally friendly. He is just someone that wants power. He's got this stupid charity. He faked a football career. Do read the Times article. It's really intriguing. And now, is he going to get the best rewards of all? Is he going to be the mayor of London? When I saw this in the article, it's suddenly everything clicked together. I just couldn't believe it that someone that's just so rubbish is going to be elevated. But then, you know, they made Sadiq Khan the mayor of London, so who's to say the standards can fall? Anyway, I can't believe this video has got to 20 minutes, but is Mete Coban going to be the mayor of London? Is he being primed for that? Now, I may be wrong. You know, this whole video, I might, actually, no, most of it is correct, but my prediction, and it is in the Times as well, they're touching on it, but if I'm predicting now, like, the mayor of London might be Mete Coban, and say in a few months' time I'm proven completely wrong, and people say, oh, you're an idiot, how did you get that wrong? You know what, I would be so happy. I would be so happy if I'm wrong. But is he going to be the next mayor of London? Have a look at his Twitter page, see what you think. And if you want to read anything, I've written quite a lot about Mete Coban, spelt Metecoban. So feel free to look on my Substack and it's all there. Anyway, over and out.